Today we're going to be discussing the opinion which has been held by many people, and that is that modern thrash metal is terrible. Now, where do I even start with this? Because like you can just tell by sort of the tone of the statement who is saying it, and that is thrashers from the 80s that basically think that 80s thrash is the best thing, and that modern thrash is nowhere near as good as 80s thrash. Ironically, nobody who says this was born was born any earlier than 1995. Anyway, onto the main sort of thing is I hear people say stuff like you know, modern thrash is regurgitated bollocks from the. You would never hear a redneck say bollocks, but in the Shezzer universe, they do. Anyway, alright, so you hear them say shit like, modern thrash bands suck so much ass, they do the same thing that they've done in the 80s, and it's just like, what the hell, man? Just shut up, just shut up, just get in the bin, mate. Because there's several reasons why modern thrash is better than old thrash. First reason is it's rare, I'll give them that, but a lot of them do add new things. For example, Vektor, while they are just following on from Voivod's lead, they fill in the gaps in Voivod's sound. For example, I could listen from Black Future through to Terminal Redux and beyond, just because Vektor have completely nailed the tech thrash space kind of thing, and it makes for seriously awesome listening. And if Vektor had been around in the 80s, people would be praising them instead of shitting on them like I do now. Even though there are some bands which I will happily admit are just worshipping the 80s. Examples of these being bands like Violator and Bonded by Blood and Municipal Waste, Gamma Bomb. They're just doing the same thing, but Municipal Waste and Gamma Bomb have a sort of fun element to the lyrics. So they're taking the thrash sound, but they're not taking it seriously. Like, they're not saying, "Oh, we're the saviors of thrash metal. You should bow down to us because we do the same thing as they did in the 80s." No, like they know that they could do better. So they're sort of, they're just kind of, I guess, sort of, not taking it too seriously, which, it's admirable. It is. But yeah, there's also, like Toxic Holocaust. They pretty much, they're literally just an American Venom, but their sound is so simplistic that it's just so fun to listen to. And sometimes you don't want to hear just overly complex stuff. Like, I've got a playlist on my Spotify for modern thrash, and there's not a single Vektor song in there simply because their music is too good. It's too good. You want something that's fast, simple, raw, and just fun to listen to. And that brings me on to my next point. Thrash, no matter when it was made, there's always going to be a demand for it because people want thrash no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter what year it is. There's still a demand for it, which is why there are thrash bands in every single European country. Not just every country in the world, apart from the Middle East where it's illegal. But then again, you've got bands like Al Namrud that are doing black metal in Saudi Arabia, or at least they say they're from Saudi Arabia because they haven't proven it. They just say they are, so you got to believe them. Even though Ghost Bath said they're from China, but that's just too cringy to make up. But yeah, there's always going to be a demand for thrash. So if you think that we're going to sit there, listen to, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, Forbidden, Testament, Overkill, Exodus, etc., and not get bored, you're a bit of an idiot. If you can listen to those bands throughout your entire life and not get bored of them, fair play. You don't have to worry about ever finding new stuff. You can just lazily listen to the same 5 thrash albums on repeat and not get bored of them. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good skill you got there. Not gonna lie, but yeah, people like us want to hear new stuff, and that's especially difficult when you want a very specific thing. You want fast tempos. You want shredding. High pitched. You want high pitched vocals that have got a very kind of dismissive to society kind of tone. I know that sounds so edgy, but it's true. Like thrash, like it speaks to a certain individual in the world, basically. Another reason why I defend modern thrash is that they take the old stuff and they add in new stuff. As I've previously mentioned, there's vektor and evile add in elements of melodic death metal. So does silosis. In fact, silosis' main sort of thing is melodic death metal, but there's thrashy like elements to it. Shadows Fall and Bullet for My Valentine do metalcore, but with thrash undertones. Suicidal Angels do thrash metal, but it's got that scooped. It's got a very scooped guitar tone, which gives it a death metal kind of vibe. And they're always wearing their Asphyx and Bolt Thrower shirts, so they're definitely like they've definitely got elements of death metal in there because they're listening to it and they're taking influence from it, i.e. the scooped guitar tone. And Havok, in some of their songs, they've got blast beats in thrash, and they've also got like on their most recent album, Conformicide, they've got essentially a funk bass player in there, so they've got all the slap bass in on that album, and the bass is really high up in the mix to sort of so you can feel like the funk in that record. And so yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Havok's early material was very cookie cutter, like the Burn album, for example. Like, if you played that for me and didn't tell me who it was, I can tell it was Havok. I could have listed any other thrash band and I would have been sure it was right. But yeah, it like from sort of Time Is Up onwards, they've sort of come out of their shell and became more individual. But yeah, we're going off topic. We're talking about bands that do different things. Who else does something different? Oh yeah, Savage Messiah. They do power thrash, and that's really cool because it's like the reason why I don't really like Judas Priest that much is there's not really much energy to it. I mean, obviously you've got songs like Rapid Fire and Exciter, which have got energy to them, but for the most part, to me it's just very straightforward, like sort of hard rock. Whereas Savage Messiah take the sort of melodic aspect of it and they give it a thrashier rhythm, and they make it a so much more enjoyable experience that it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievably good. Do you know what I mean? I want to reiterate on my previous point. People want more of the old because it's what they love. It's what they're conditioned to like from years of listening to thrash. And an example of this is obviously Lost Society from Finland, because what they're doing is they're essentially they're bringing back sort of the 90s groove thrash, especially on their most recent album Brain Dead, because that's got a very heavy sort of groove aspect to it, but at the same time there's all the speed and energy. So it's essentially, but there's also melody. So it's essentially Overkill meets Children of Bodom, and it sounds like absolutely incredible. And to be honest, like if you can listen to a band like Lost Society or Evile or Game Over or Ultraviolence or something and think, oh, this is shit. You don't have ears, or if you have ears, you're not using them well, or you're not attached, or your brain isn't properly connected to your ears, because a lot of the thrash bands are doing it extremely well, and some of them actually outperform ones that they were inspired by. For example, Toxic Holocaust, they're a lot more tighter than Venom, and the vocals sound a lot more like, I guess, menacing, and the lyrics are so much better.